Welcome back, and we're now on to our 5 days too late news segment, and we are looking at the Xbox showcase that happened this week. So did you guys watch this? Did you guys see this? The Xbox showed off a load of new Xbox Series X and upcoming games.
Yes.
I watched it, but I was pissed because I had to leave midway through to go to a doctor's appointment. But we had a watch party in Discord. That was actually really fun.
That was really cool. Yeah, we all got together, like those of us from Discord and the Megavision's Discord, and watched along and chatted, and that was really entertaining. It was really funny.
It was really easy to set up and do, which is well, that makes it way better for us. It makes us more likely to do more stuff like that. So maybe for a few more of these upcoming shows, we can do some watch parties.
So from the Xbox showcase, should we talk about some of the key games that we thought really stood out? So
every other podcast in the world is talking about this, so we don't need to review it again, I think is what it comes down to. About what hit us harder.
We'll just throw out a few suggestions that we thought. So my first one would be Yuji Naka and I'm going to get this name wrong, Naoto Oshima. They've announced a new 3D platform adventure game called Balan Wonderland, and the key thing is here that hopefully long-time listeners will know Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima. They were sort of two of the godfathers of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise and the Knights franchise as well, and so this game looks quite a lot like Knights in some ways. Like there seems to be definitely some sort of spiritual successor involved, I guess, like more from the artwork standpoint, I'd say, and kind of about the background story to the game, because part of the idea of the game is that you're playing as these characters and you can dress up in different costumes and stuff, but the whole thing is to bring balance to their emotions and stuff, as far as I could tell. But yeah, there's 12 different tales you get to play through. It's a big imaginary sort of wonderland, they call it, or wonder world. And there's 80 different costumes you can use. Exploring a labyrinth of stages filled with a myriad of tricks and traps to get to the heart of each story. As you journey through this land between fantasy and reality, you must find a way to bring balance to others and yourself. And so it looks like it's taken a lot of inspiration from Knights, especially what I believe is the title character Balan. There's this guy, so it's like a sort of jester type guy with no face but eyes and big top hat, and he does look a lot like Knights or Rihanna, that sort of style of character and the way they sort of move and stuff. And some of the bosses, I don't know if you guys noticed, some of the bosses really reminded me of Knights. There's like one who's like a big, do you remember the opera singer in the first level of Knights? The big round orb. There's a boss who looks just like that. So what did you guys think of this? Did you get excited for this game? Are you like, or...
I think it's awesome because now we finally know what Yuji Naka's been up to at Square. I think that was the big mystery a lot of people have had for a while, because that news came out almost 2 years ago, if it feels like. And so they must have been, brainstorming and stuff. I'm glad that he brought Oshima on board, because these were the dudes that designed Sonic the Hedgehog 40 years ago. It's what it feels like. But so it's neat that they're kind of back together again, working on this new IP. Obviously, it doesn't stray too far from what these guys have done in the past. I think it seems like they're keeping it, pretty what they're kind of familiar with. I would say that the human characters and stuff, and it just even some of with the costumes and stuff, they look a bit generic to me. Okay. Like some of them don't feel like they have a ton of personality to the characters. Like I would like to see a more kind of how Balan is more of an exaggerated looking character with his long limbs and everything. I think the design of him looks great. I would have just liked to see when they switch to different characters to have a more dramatic or stylized kind of look to them. What they look like now is almost like, I don't know, if you have these characters for your amiibos or your Xbox avatar or whatever. Yeah, stuff you put those characters look like to me when I saw this. So if I have one part of criticism, it's that. I think some of the characters look a little generic.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah, 100% agree. The reason everybody's comparing it to knights is Balan himself or herself has those long limbs that kind of go out into a bell-bottom style with the feet and the arms. And there are parts of some of the levels where they're literally flying through a ring, which is the links in knights, and like collecting those things. And I'm trying to keep a level head about it because I love the Knight series, as everybody knows, but it really looks hardcore like Journey of Dreams, where you were walking around as the kid avatars, which was the worst part of that game. I didn't like. Well,
hot take.
I'm going to say, yeah, Journey of Dreams, that was not the fun part of the game. But
no, and they had like full levels dedicated to them.
Yeah, so.
Oh, you're saying but
I feel like maybe Balan they've taken ideas from that, and that's fair. That's a fair comment, I think. But to me, it actually looks like it's going to be more of a fun 3D proper adventure platform game, which is something I personally have been craving for years now. Like since Banjo-Kazooie and stuff. Like I feel like I haven't played a really good 3D platformer. And I'm going to say something.
Did you play Lucky's Tale?
Yes, I thought that was decent, but
okay.
There's something about that game because the camera angle is kind of fixed. I don't know have you played it at all? Like,
no, I want to check it out because it looked very much like up my alley. But I know what you mean.
It's a really fun game. It's very good. It's very good for kids as well. Most of it is quite easy, to be fair. But it's kind of like the camera angle is kind of fixed. So even though it's 3D, you can't adjust the camera angle. Like you can move the camera mildly to the left and to the right at points, but it's not really a proper. You can't really like look around and see all the scenery from every angle, which is kind of what
I think it started as a VR game and they put it into that after that, so that might be why it was little wonky, but
it's still a really good game. I still think it's really good. And controversially, while I think Mario Odyssey is a really impressive game, for whatever reason I couldn't get into that game. I played for the first few levels, I've got it on my Switch, played for the first few levels, and I got bored. I was just like, I'm done. I said to myself, I'm not enjoying this game at all right now. So I might go back to that another time, but to me, that's the biggest 3D platform adventure game that's been out lately. I can't really think of anything else. But yeah, Ukulele as well. Actually, I really enjoyed Ukulele. So yeah, there haven't been that many of late, and this game sort of might tickle those taste buds for me, I think. And so I'm quite excited because some of the levels, I don't know if you saw it.
That's the old phrase.
In the trailer. In the trailer, it had like a whole Inception moment.
Tickle my taste buds.
That's the podcast name right there.
That's the title of this episode.
Brilliant. But did you notice in the trailer there's a whole like Inception moment in one of the levels where the level seemed to sort of bend over like that? I was just like, that looks insane. And and Chris, you mentioned about the costumes. The costumes give the characters different powers. Basically, you can do different things. And like you saw, there's like one bit where someone's like, she's almost like seems to be like dancing through the air and stuff, like on stuff. And it looks like it could be a really fun game. I'd love to see more of it. So yeah, this is one I'm really excited for.
Yeah, my only worry is that the characters you play as are pretty boring looking, like Chris said. Maybe that's to lend to the fact that you should be focusing on the powers you can use, because those characters look more interesting.
Yeah. Again,
but I don't know.
I think maybe that's where they're going with, like, again, inspiration from Knights. The kids in the Knights, in the original Knights and the sequel, Journey of Dreams, they were just kids. They were like normal kids, like one with blonde hair, one with, brown hair, whatever. Even though you could sort of play as them at points, the main part of it was the magical world you were in and like being knights and stuff. So, so I think that's almost like bringing it to reality almost. These are normal kids, so boring, normal, everyday kids. They're dealing with different emotions and stuff. Like that's kind of meant to be part of the game, and it's that magical world that sort of draws you in and stuff. So, yeah, I kind of like that balance personally. I like if it's all wacky characters, like Crash Bandicoot or Ukulele or Banjo-Kazooie, then that's one thing. But I feel like that's what they're going for with this game. For like, it's almost like this can sound so cheesy, but like a kind of like Saturday morning kids like learning kind of cartoon thing. Like everything's got a moral at the end of it. Yeah, like that's why you shouldn't miss it, kids. Yeah.
I got a when the train rolled in, I got a Polar Express vibe as well.
That's It's true.
It's kind of all over the place, and that's cool because games need to do that more. It's hard to pull off a good 3D platformer anymore,
Yeah.
like a solid one all around. It's very easy to mess up. I say this like I make games all the time. It's very easy to mess up one aspect that can be game breaking on it. But I'm keeping my expectations in check, but I am excited for it because it just looks so pleasant, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, it does, yeah. And while this was showcased on the Xbox Showcase, it has been confirmed it is coming for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. It says spring 2021 is the launch date right now. So it's going to be on everything, future generation and current generation.
I think Yuji Naka tweeted afterwards. It said that they're basically going in crunch mode like this upcoming week. So they're going to be in crunch mode for until like next spring.
Wow.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, did they have a date for that game?
It's spring 21.
Yeah, it's spring 2021. Okay. Yeah.
Which I won't be surprised if that gets delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
That seems like a game ripe for delayment. So
yeah,
not to try to curse it, but I'll be surprised if that comes out.
I will say I very much dig Balan's design. If they do like any type of statue or anything for that, I might snag it just because I really like his design and know nothing about the game.
Really cool. And the bosses look really
also even more so the end trailer, whoever the enemy or whatever it is, it looks like it would be the Reala of the game. I kind of like that design more. It was more kind of mysterious than Balan, you know?
Yeah.
So, but we'll see.
Cool.
The next, I guess, big Sega game that was showed, not that the first one was a Sega game, but
right.
Juicy Tide.
It's we know what we're here for with that one. But I guess the only official Sega title that was announced during this Xbox Game Showcase was Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, which I think it's fair to say that came out of left field. I don't think any of us were expecting a new expansion on Phantasy Star Online 2, just mainly for the fact that it's taken Sega so long to get this game over here that I just assumed it was kind of one of those things where it's just like, like this game's at the tail end of its life. We'll throw it over there and see if we can make some money off of it. But it seems like, no, like they're really invested in this this game, this series, because they're following up this big new expansion called New Genesis. They overhauled the whole graphics engine and the game design of it. It seems like you're going to be able to do a lot more stuff with it, showing like new ways to traverse, where you've got people that can kind of like almost like teleport in a way, like they're moving and they're gliding throughout the levels. And so it seems like they're really expanding each level to make it a lot bigger, and they're giving players like new ways to get around it, like in a lot faster way. But there's also a new level creator, not level creator, but character creator. Did you guys see that? Like how crazy, like detailed you can make that?
I didn't actually see that.
Did you say character or level creator?
I said level at first, but I meant character creator is what I corrected myself. They actually made a big deal about it because it zoomed in on the characters' hands, and it showed like their hands were like their fingers were moving, and then it zoomed out. I was like, fingers that can really move. It's just like, when did that become like a selling point? But it was kind of neat. And
their fingers really sweat.
That's like the giant crab from like the PlayStation 2 setting thing. You know, do you remember that game? Like Sony announced on the E3. There was a game for the PlayStation 2 that was like giant crab. There was like a big. But don't worry, clearly no one remembers that.
I don't at all.
Hopefully, the listeners or viewers will remember. Sorry, Chris. Carry on.
Yeah, but so that was like a big deal, I guess. It's going to be coming out, I guess, sometime this next year, and I don't know. Like, it's pretty exciting that they're going to be, coming out with this new expansion. I was not expecting this. I don't know. What did you guys think?
So
yeah.
Actually, no, Scotty, you go first, my friend. You go first.
I don't have much to say about it because I still haven't been able to dive fully on into PSO2. It's cool, and it's cool that they're showing new life, but even I feel like with how old PSO2 is, even though it just now got outside of Japan, they should really move on to the next chapter, probably.
But let's
me having not played it.
Yeah, what's neat about this too, though, is that like a lot of stuff will cross over. So you can create a character in New Genesis and then actually go back to PSO2 and play it across there. So it's sounds like it's two separate games. This is essentially you could even think of this as PSO3 in a way.
Okay, I might have misunderstood their portrayal of that then, because I thought it was like an update, so to speak, for PSO2.
You're good. It's not really. It's like it's its own game. But you can still
Please explain MMOs to me.
I know you could play either game. You could create a character in PSO2 and then bring it and actually play it in PSO2 New Genesis, and vice versa. Okay. There's going to be some stuff that doesn't cross over, like some of like the there's like 4 different types of like monetary like in the game. You know, there's the meseta, then there's this thing called fun, and a bunch of other crap. And so it's kind of hard to keep up with. But so some of that won't carry over. Some of the photon arts and stuff, other things won't carry over between the two. But it sounds like as much as makes sense to keep probably the gameplay balance and stuff correct. It seems like that, but I'm pretty excited about it. Graham, I don't think you got a chance to give your thoughts.
So I love what I've seen. I love the idea of it. We haven't got PSO2 in Europe yet, though.
Oh yeah.
So, what the fuck's sake? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're talking about like it's like Phantasy Star Online 2's been out in like Japan and Asia for years now. Recently, only came to America. We still haven't even got it, and yet Sega's announcing like another like kind of semi-sequel kind of add-on type thing to it. It's like, what?
Do you think that part of the reason? Do you think that this was done and this concept was done before they started making this actual add-on, and they were like, oh wait guys, it's only in Japan. They're like, oh shoot, yeah, let's go ahead and put PSO2 out in other places real quick, and then we'll announce this. Do you think
I wonder
from that a little bit?
I wonder at this point though, like, wouldn't it just make sense just to only bring New Genesis out in Europe? Like,
maybe
why
that's
would
what
you?
They're doing, yeah.
Why would you release PSO2 now? Like, it would just make way more sense, because then you have two basic like MMOs that are compatible, but they're still separate, and you'd release them close together in one region. That seems stupid. I would just release New Genesis.
Yeah, that is weird.
I don't know. I'd quite like to experience PSO2 the normal version, but I don't know. Unless, because as you're saying, there are parts that kind of cross over, not everything does. I don't know. It just, I mean, the only experience of PSO2 I've had so far is when they did that beta test in America, and I managed to actually switch my region for my Xbox, but I couldn't do that for the whole thing. I can't keep it on that, because playing European games, I can't play my games library properly, basically, if it's set to American Xbox. It seems like most of the games do play, but not everything. Anyway, so I had to switch back to the European, like, UK store. So yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre to me. So it could be a case of it doesn't come out in Europe at all. Maybe they just maybe they think Europe doesn't enjoy Phantasy Star Online or something, even though we do. Well, from memory we did. I don't know.
Okay, so there was, I guess, one other big game that you wanted to talk about, Graham.
Yes, and I feel like every Xbox fanboy wanted to talk about this, or see this at least, and that is Everwild. No. That is Halo Infinite. So for the first time, we've known about Halo Infinite for a while now. For the first time, I actually got to see proper gameplay footage. Did you guys watch the gameplay footage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if for viewers and listeners who didn't see it, essentially they showed us all kind of trailer gameplay footage bit for the game, and the part they actually showed was apparently set several hours into the main campaign, and it shows Master Chief and this pilot character who they've sort of teased in other videos already, basically crash landing on part of the Halo ring, and then Master Chief basically telling him to wait in the ship, and he goes out and basically there's Covenant all around. It's like it shows him like going off to like shooting them with the assault rifle. It basically showed off like different weapons that you get to use and new mechanics. So they had like the assault rifle. They showed off this M4A assault rifle thing, which is like a really badass rifle. A cool plasma rifle. Some upgrades to some of the other different weapons. The cool thing is they showed off this grappling hook feature, which is really cool. I love a grappling hook in any game, but they showed Master Chief being able to use it for him to pull himself towards enemies, so he can then like go in and smash them in the face. Used it to like grapple onto like a overhanging bridge bit, which then launched him up to a higher level. Also used it on a plasma canister thing, which he like came to him and then he held the plasma canister and threw it at some enemies and shot it and exploded. So that was really cool. And the thing that I like about it is kind of kept the jumping kind of climbing mechanic from Halo 5, which I don't know if you guys have played that much, but essentially in the previous Halo games, when Master Chief could always jump quite high, but in Halo 5 he could jump high, but also if he was near a ledge, he would basically pull himself up. So it made the games, like the areas a lot more sort of vertical. He felt more vertical, if that makes sense. So you could like run in the different directions, but also more vertical element to the gameplay. So they've kept that in it. And there's a really cool bit where I thought he like kills off a load of Covenant people and then hits this button. And he basically goes up in this elevator and you start to see kind of the scenery around you and how far you can see in the distance. And from what I've read and what the game name sort of indicates that, Halo Infinite, and from what I've read, I think this could be the first time you actually get to go around the whole Halo ring in a game. Because previously Halo games have just been set up levels, set around the Halo rings or whatever planet they're on, because they're not all actually on the rings. Yeah, I actually had it. Where did I read it? There's actually a tiny bit that sort of mentioned. Oh, yeah. Begin anew and step inside the armor of humanity's greatest hero to experience an epic adventure and finally explore the scale of the Halo ring itself. So to me, that little blurb there indicates that, yeah, you will actually get to experience the whole ring. And Halo games in the past, even the first one, they always had this air of open world feeling, even though they weren't technically all open world. Like the original Halo, I remember actually being massively impressed that you could actually, like in some of the levels, you can go backwards and forwards, like back to areas you've been in if you wanted to. And some of the times, like you do a mission in a level, and then the next part of the level, you actually would have to walk back where you came from, basically, or make your way back. And I always found that actually really cool because it felt like you were like on this full massive ring thing. But this could be the first one that actually is a true massive open world. ODST was kind of an open world experience because you were in the city, you got to walk around to different areas, but this could be the first one you actually get to explore the ring, so I'm excited for that. What did you guys think? Were you guys excited for this? Were you guys, I don't care about Halo, or what are your thoughts, Scotty?
I really enjoy the Halo games. Going back and playing the first one, if you try to now, it's super boring, and you realize that was definitely made as a co-op game because the world is very empty for an OG Xbox game, so to speak. It's not a bad game, but you can see what they were going for with that. So I played through Halo 1 and 2. I actually, in prep for 5, watched cutscenes of 3 and ODST and Reach that I missed.
Okay.
And then I played Halo 5 and was super disappointed in the story because I don't give two shits about relationship drama in my space shooting game. And Locke was just an annoying character. But I am not excited for this because open world games are too overwhelming for me to fully enjoy anymore. So I don't think I'll be getting this game.
No. What if they're able to keep the sort of same campaign structure that, yes, you've got to go to this point and kill those things. So it's less of a fully open world. You know, you just get distracted by everything. It's more of a proper like, right, we need to go to this point on the Halo ring. You've got to reach the other side of the Halo ring. Find your best way there. Like, do you think that'd enjoy that?
It could be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe more so in a co-op aspect. They didn't say anything about multiplayer at all in this, right?
They didn't, but historically, Halo has always been designed with co-op in mind. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, arguably about the multiplayer to an extent.
Yeah. Every single Halo game has been co-op, be that online or offline. The first two were offline, but yeah, all the others were online co-op. In fact, that's
it's a weird feeling because I was excited when I saw the world because it looks like the first game. So like nostalgia playing into that, of course, probably blinded me a little bit. But like it looks great and it like got me excited for a new Halo story. But then I was like, God damn, I can't play an open world game right now. I just don't have the time. You know?
Yeah, I guess we have to see how that
So I
plays
don't know.
out.
It's a mixed bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited that oh God, what's the name of the vehicle? Why have I forgotten the name?
Warthog?
The Warthog. Thank you. The Warthog looks like it has gas canisters on the back now, and so I'm wondering and hoping that this will tie in to some of the multiplayer where you can shoot the back of a Warthog and it'll actually explode.
Maybe.
That would be pretty. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But overall, I loved it. I know a lot of people are trashing it right now for the graphics and the way that it looked. They didn't say I think the biggest criticism is just that it looks current gen. It doesn't look like it's like a next gen like Halo.
Everything's supposed to come out on Xbox One and Series X together, so maybe people should pay attention.
I wouldn't disagree with them either. Like I think that this is a game that looks like it could be made on the Xbox One and run today. I didn't see really a lot there that I was like, man, this is truly next gen. So I didn't get blown away by this reveal at all. But what I saw of it actually looks really fun. Right. I think they've made some really cool additions, modified some of the gameplay. There's some cool new weapons, which is always a fun thing with each new Halo. So I'm actually really looking forward to it. I don't care that much about all the graphics and all of that stuff as much as I do that the game is fun. And it looks like they're making some good decisions. So I've not been a huge fan of 343 in the past. I think I still think the Bungie games were the best of the Halo. But I want 343 to make a good Halo game. I love the franchise. So I'm not one that I'm just going to crap on it because of the 343 game. I'm hoping that they get it right this time and they they bring Halo back to its glory of where I think it should be.
That's fair. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. I can understand some of those sort of I guess complaints and some of the stuff around it, but I thought it looked great. I like the sheer scale of everything. But yeah.
I want to make it clear I'm not complaining. I don't mean to correct you, Graham, but I'm just a little bummed that I want to enjoy a Halo game, but I feel like since it's open world, I won't be able to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do understand. Yeah,
I would just wait also to see what a lot of the different missions are like, because if it's like you could take it on a bite-sized thing, so like maybe you just go on and like, oh, I'll just play a couple missions and you can knock those out in like 15-20 minutes a piece or something, then that might actually make it where you play it and it's probably maybe better for you than maybe a traditional like game like that.
Maybe. Yeah, I just got to wait and see how they pull it off, because everybody pulls off open world very differently anymore too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of sort of, if you're doing a mission, there's sort of checkpoints or save points in that progress that you could sort of then stop at. I think that'd be good, because like the original Halo levels were massive. Like the very first game, they were huge, and like
they were just big on their own.
To finish them, but you'd get checkpoints, so like you get to an area and it goes, okay, saving or whatever, automatic saving, so you knew if you died or you turned off your Xbox when you to return, you'll be where you were. So if they had something like that in there, so you could be halfway through a mission and sort of have a checkpoint so that you can go, oh, okay, I need to go to work now or whatever, then I think that'd be cool.
That's a good point.
So I guess overall, because we talked about some of the games that we were like, particularly, liked, but overall, what do you guys think of Microsoft showing here? Like, do you feel like you saw enough of these games and you saw enough of the games that interest you that you think you're going to want to get a Series X at launch?
I'll let you guys answer.
Oh, at launch? No, definitely not. Yeah.
I know
Graham's got 5 pre-ordered already. I will. I'm not getting any console at launch still, but this was a lot stronger of a presentation than their one before this. Granted, the one before that And what's weird is people's rage because they've come out and said both times exactly what these are going to be. The last one they said this is all the third-party developers, enjoy their stuff. This one is Microsoft owned stuff. It's coming out on everything. Also, their attitude was very much like, we don't really give a shit where you play it, but here's some games that are coming out, you know, as opposed to Sony being like, you will play this on PS5, you know. But I think it was a stronger presentation than the last one they had. The only game that stood out to me was Medium, and I'm still kind of confused on how you play this survival horror game that looks like it's literally splitting Silent Hill in half if you played at the same time or whatever. Otherwise, I wasn't too blown away. The only other thing I'll say is that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids / Fortnite thing is a game that is well overdue, that there hasn't been a game yet that is basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's ground.
And it comes out on Tuesday.
That one does?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's on Game Pass. Yeah, because we've already preloaded it also. You can preload it on Game Pass.
Wow.
So that comes out.
I'm legit curious about that game. You'll have to let me know how that is, Chris.
It looks like it's like kind of like one of those survival building type stuff. So you have to work together to build a shelter and kind of fight off predators. So I'm really looking forward to Odin. Has been asking me at least once every couple days, like, when's Grounded coming out? When's Grounded coming out?
Grounded, so that's what it's called.
Yep. Yeah, he's so excited about it.
Cool.
Overall, like, I thought it looked, everything, you know, like, looked good. There weren't those, like, system selling looking games that you're just like, holy crap, you know, like, there wasn't any of that. But I thought it was solid. There was a lot of cool stuff there. I thought Obsidian's, like, showing was some of the best. Avowed, that was that game that looks kind of like Skyrim. That looked awesome. Right. That looked really good. Oh, yeah. That's the, you know, outside of the Sega stuff, the Avowed was what I was like, holy crap, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Hellblade 2.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, that looked really cool. So for me, I think I'm not going to say this is the strongest looking sort of lineup of games coming out, but I was actually I'm quite excited for these. Some of these are games and franchises that are quite big and I'm quite excited for. And then there seems to be some new ones, like you say, Avowed, and like there's quite a few other ones there that sort of seem like Medium interested me. And but the thing is, though, a couple of games that stood out for me was State of Decay 3. I thought that trailer looked really cool. Like that was the one with the girl sort of like walking through the woods, creeping like with a gun. And then she sort of like she hears this like weird howling sound at night and stuff. And then she sort of sees this deer like eating something. She aims her gun at it and the deer looks up and it's like half mangled face and stuff. And so like screams there, goes, and I really enjoy the State of Decay games. I'm not saying they're the most amazing games in the world, but I think for what they are, they're really good. And they, to me, feel like true survival horror games in that you are literally trying to survive. Resources are limited. It's a really good fun co-op game. And if State of Decay 3 can really up the level, because State of Decay 2 was good, it was a step up from the first one. But if 3 is better with graphics and stuff and more stuff, I think it'd be really cool. The other one thing game that excited me, but we didn't see anything of, was Fable. Now, I love the original Fable. I enjoyed Fable 2. I didn't really enjoy Fable 3 that much. But I've kind of been dying for another Fable game. So I love the kind of world.
They showed it like right at the end, though. Like, I mean, they
it's literally just the logo.
Yeah. Though. So yeah, I'm not. I said we didn't see any of it, Chris. That's what I said. They teased it, but that's the kind of game I'm really excited for. So I'm just.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that there was no showing of it like there at all.
No,
like,
they didn't show the game itself. They teased. Right. They teased about the game, but because. Up until now, we didn't realize there was going to be another Fable game because Peter Molyneux Studios closed down a while back. They cancelled the last Fable game. Yeah, Lionhead Studios closed down. They cancelled the last Fable game that was due to come out. So yeah, the Fable franchise kind of went for a rocky patch, basically. Fable 1 and 2 did really well. Fable 3, and then they had like Fable Heroes, and they had...
Fable Journeys.
Fable Journeys, yeah. So...
Yeah,
it's... But yeah, so I'm excited to hear that.
And every year there's been a new rumor about Fable, it feels like, so, or something Fable related. So
no, it's true. But I love the fact that it looks like it's keeping that weird, dry sense of humor, kind of slightly dark sense of humor as well, intact. Like if you watch the trailer, there's this pretty fairy flying through like kind of Peter Pan style fairy flying through this land. It's kind of looking all happy and stuff, and then suddenly this toad grabs it with his tongue and eats it, and it's kind of like
I forgot about that.
So
yeah, so there was gameplay, or not gameplay, but footage.
There was
it showed something, but it wasn't. I mean, that's not indicative of
it wasn't gameplay footage at all. Probably not even in the actual engine footage, but it was kind of a fun thing. So yeah, and there's a few titles that interested me. The one title I'm still like, why is Destiny 2? Like, they're recently re-releasing Destiny 2 for...
Dude.
I don't know.
That game is doing okay. People love Destiny 2.
I don't know.
Psychonauts 2 looked all good too.
I'm surprised you didn't mention that just because of Jack Black.
Yes.
Jack Black is I guess doing some of the songs in it, and they showed some like him in studio. Him and what's his name that runs Double Fine are good buddies. So
my brain, his name just left my brain.
But Tim
Schafer.
There we go. And so I think one thing to keep in mind about this, and we could then move on because we're running out of time. But I will say that some of this stuff is just, they wanted to show that these are the games and franchises that are going to be coming to Series X, like early on, and I think that's what we showed, and that's why they showed games like Fable. That while they don't really have anything to show, they want to tell longtime Fable fans is like, look, this game is coming to the Xbox, and you want to buy one because you want to make sure you have it to play one of your favorite franchises. So when I see a game like that and I see how they show it, I know that game's far off. Like, that's not a game that may even be coming out in 2021. That might be something that's like, early 2022, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But
so,
yeah.
Overall, though, like, I think it was fine. I wasn't blown away, but I think they did fine. They have enough like interesting games that span pretty much all genres.
Yeah, there's one other game I very want to quickly mention is, do you remember seeing Everwild by Rare, which had random, like, lots of creatures and stuff, and there's like one which was like dying and the humans were healing it. Like, we didn't really see any gameplay, but that really interested me. I was like, because I'm a big fan of Rare, I love Rare's games, and that's something that I'm like, oh, there's a lot of games there that just, I was like, oh, that looks interesting, I want to know more. So for me, it really did that job.
I was really upset because I thought we were going to get a Viva Pinata thing, and I think I just couldn't believe that they went through that, and that wasn't the Rare game that they were going to have there. It just made like a perfect thing. A Viva Pinata 3, that was the one game I was really hoping that they would show. And so I was pretty disappointed.
I can't tell if you're being serious right now or not, but
dude,
no, Viva
Pinata is an awesome game. I'm not kidding.
I like those games, but they notoriously did not do so well for.
You're right.
Yeah,
but I think if they just marketed it well, I think it could catch on really, really big. My kids loved the first two Viva Pinata games. Like, they put insane amount of hours into that. And, like, I remember one time. I guess I did something where, like, Caitlin got mad at me, so she decided she was going to be bad. So she made all of her pinatas evil and like turned her like little farm area like bad, and so it got real dark and like there was cobwebs everywhere. So that was her way of like kind of like expressing her anger. It was like she's going to make our whole thing bad. It was pretty funny.
I mean, this is also the beginning of a new gen, so that's not to say there won't at some point, maybe further into their lifespan, be a Viva Pinata 3.
Yeah, and I just think a Viva Pinata 3 makes a lot of sense, but
it's
that's
been,
another conversation.
10 years since Viva Pinata, so it's about time.
Probably.